Okay, I want to talk about the workplace, right? I feel like where I have even really suffered the most bias has been in the workplace, right?
Oh, for
And
sure.
a lot of times it felt like it was like, oh, we're giving women a chance, we're giving them an opportunity
Oh, give me a break.
to be here, right? To do this
Yeah.
work. Women are, and they should just do like admin work, right? They should just do receptionist, administrative officer, maybe handle the phone, things like that. Women shouldn't be
Mhm.
in executive level, the C level. We've been fighting for this, and we're starting to see some companies, bringing women into the executive leadership. But even those men in executive leadership still struggle for their voices to be heard. In board meetings, the men are talking over them. The men are stating
Yes.
their ideas. They say
Yes.
something, and then the man puts it forward, and then they put it all on the company
Oh my
website.
goodness.
Oh, thanks to John for blah blah blah. What can we do in the workplace? Because as much as they say, oh, there's gender equality, there's DEI teams, and all of that are working together to ensure that we're bringing more women into management and all of that. There's a lot of programs going on all over the world. Still, in the workplace, there's the microaggressions against women.
Yes, absolutely. Ladies need to be equipped with language use and assertion. Assertion is not pushing yourself forward and yelling at people. Assertion is calling it as it is. And real diplomacy is about using the right words.
Hmm.
And real diplomacy is about your inner power and exuding that into words. So if somebody unfairly takes an idea from you, you can literally say, as I mentioned earlier, the ideas I mentioned, this really aligns with what I shared earlier. Thank you, John. Thank you for putting that in other words that makes
Right.
it possibly easier to understand for some people out in this meeting, right? Something
Yeah.
along that you are reaffirming yourself. It's like, I said that. That's the
Right.
exact same thing I said, right? If somebody makes a misogynistic comment, very common in workplaces where it's male dominated, which in most workplaces, it will be male dominated. Most industries at the top is male dominated, right? Someone may say something like, oh yeah, she went all crazy, whatever, on us, the crazy woman, or, moody woman, some kind of misogynistic comment. You can literally make that person repeat it. Rather than saying, you shouldn't say that. How dare you say that? Because now they can get back at you and say, well, you know what? You read between the words, blah, blah, blah. Instead, you can say something like, come again? I didn't catch that. Make people repeat things when they say dumb things. Let them say it again. Hear their own words. Let them say it loud so other people can hear it again. We have to be equipped. And this is the thing about equality. The way we look at equality does not exist. We can't keep fighting for it because you're looking for an impossible. However, equity is something else.
Right.
Equity is acknowledging we have a long history. As women, we're very prone to people pleasing in workplaces and at home. It's knowing these things exist, acknowledging it, and having tools, enough tools,
Right.
to pull it out during those situations. Oh, this is the other thing, ladies. If you want to negotiate salary, I know it sounds unfair. Please do not take your Chanel to work. Please don't. Don't take your Gucci to work, because people will have ideas, and even though they may not say it to you, they will believe that you don't deserve more because you already have a lot. Or maybe she has inheritance, or maybe she has it, maybe she has that. You can look smart without all those things, right? And I've learned this over time, observing other coworkers too, other people, and actually hearing other people talk about these things. Oh yeah, she has a Gucci belt. She doesn't need a belt. Excuse me, bonuses are equal, right? Salary raises are based on performance. We mustn't forget that the people we deal with every single day, they're not logical. They're completely emotional, and they will make decisions based on how much they like you, and also right? Without you people pleasing, right? How much they approve of you, which, there's a line to tread. You don't want to come across uncharismatic all the time because, again, people skills are very important, but also you don't want to make it worse than it needs to be. Take your Gucci out when you're going out for drinks with girlfriends. Understanding people is very important, especially for women, because we are navigating a new part of human history. Working women with career significance, not jobs, different, right? I know you always talk about it. Yeah. Please tell us about the career and job situation, because I've heard you say this before. I say it all the time. So tell us the difference between career and job.
I always tell people this, that your career is not your job. Where you go to every day, you're 9 to 5, you clock in and clock out.
Yeah.
That's not your career. Your career is everything you do throughout your working life. From when you graduate from college, right? Or even before you graduate, some of us started our careers even before we graduated from college. So, from when you start to work, till you retire, everything you do is your career. The work you go to, 9 to 5 that you have, the entrepreneurship you do, your business, right? All of that is your career, and your career is in your hands, right? The place you work at today, I see people say, oh, I'm a product manager at Google, I'm this at Microsoft, I'm blah, 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 I'm at Amazon. And they feel like, oh, that defines them. It does not define you. The fact that you work at this big tech company doesn't define you, or the fact that you work at, one of the big banks doesn't define you, right? That is just your job. That is not your career. Your career is the value you've added all through, your working years, all the things you've done, the amazing things you've done, whether it was through volunteering, whether it was working a 9 to 5, whether it was even through your entrepreneurship journey, right? Anything you've done that you've done to add value, to impact people, everything holistically is your career. So how significant are you in your career, is what, Julia is saying here.
You want more, whether you choose to have kids or not.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're having kids, then you have to plan for it. Don't just go and have children. I mean, I did that because I had no guidance. I had nobody telling me. All my life, I grew up women, desperate to get a man's attention so they can survive their life. That's what I observed. And the guy can do whatever they want. They can cheat. Yeah. They can, have full financial control, and she has no power, no say. Your husband is not your dad when you're 5 years old. Your husband is an equal partner. You're not 5 years old. To all women who do stuff like this. And yes, part of it is that you do have to discuss finances. Discussing finances is different from getting his approval and permission. Do you think this pathway is okay for me? Do you think that I can do this and be everything for everyone still? And if he says no, then it's a no. Ladies, you're a fully grown woman. If you can push out a baby through your vagina, you can make these decisions, okay? Because that's not an easy thing to do.
Right.
So if you can create a baby and give birth, it's ridiculous that you don't have a couple of $1,000s of financial control and say in your family. Women and money. I mean, this is an endless topic.
It's a struggle for when even some of them, when they see you, as someone who's like, who's ruthless, who's going for everything that she wants. They're like, why is she behaving like a man? Right? She has her masculine energy is so high. She's so tough. She's too pushy. She's too this. She's not behaving like a woman. As a woman, you shouldn't be ruthless. You shouldn't be too ambitious. It's not. I remember a woman actually told me I was too ambitious. And I can never forget.
I've been told that too when I was
in my early years, in my early 20s. A woman told me I was too ambitious. Why? Because I was doing an MBA. I was trying to get my certification at the same time. I was also trying to get a job. And she was on the interview panel. And she said, it just seemed like I had so much going on for me. And it seemed like I was too ambitious. That's what she told me.
Because even in the workplace, they want you to be a mother figure to other people. You only mother your own kids, okay? Even then, as a mother, if you don't have boundaries and assertion, you will not raise good kids with consistency and discipline. So actually, this is not about being masculine or feminine. Patriarchy way of seeing feminine is a pushover, a doormat. So as a mother, You have to discipline your kids. A lot of mothers don't have discipline for kids. I also struggled with this. I had to fix myself, right? Because you were conditioned to not have any boundaries. How many times growing up you have to finish everything on your plate, even though you don't want it, you don't like it, or you're not hungry? How many times you're told to give that weird uncle a hug and you don't want to, and he's like allowed to kiss your face? Boundaries were never taught to you. That's why it's so hard. I can't tell you, my kids are totally different in their childhood. So I'm shocked. I'm like, damn, I never knew how to do that. My daughter's like, don't touch me. I don't feel like a hug.
Wow.
I was like, shit. And then there's a part of me, it's like, you should do it. I'm like, wait a minute. That's my culture talking. She's like, I don't feel like sharing. That's what we need. We need to learn to do that. All of us. Boundaries and assertion with every interaction. Someone comes and breaches your boundaries at workplace, you do something about that. That builds a layer of muscle, right? That's practice.
Exactly.
Some customer tells you, Eno, I bought this 5 years ago and I don't like it. I want a full return. Excuse me? Tell me that you're going to go ask a white man the same thing.
Exactly.
I kind of doubt that. Okay.
Highly doubt that. No one would ever do that, but to women, especially women of color, it's like,
women of color.
Yeah, she's going to take it. I'm going to do whatever. I'm going to talk to her rudely. I'm not going to respect her boundaries. I'm going to be all up in her face and all of that. Yes.
We protect ourselves constantly. That's why it can be so exhausting. But we are changing a huge pattern right now that's been ongoing for thousands of years. That's why this generation of women, it feels harder. But for the next generation, hopefully, it's not going to be as hard.
I think the word for me is like ruthless. Like, be ruthless about everything you want.
Yeah.
In your career, in your marriage, in your personal life. And that's why I really like that book, Rich and Loved. I really love the title because it's really who we should be as women. We should be rich. We should have financial power and control over our finances. We should be able to demand for what we truly deserve, without having to feel like we're begging for it or we're being greedy or asking for too much, because a man wouldn't feel that way. Also, we should be loved. We should love ourselves first before even we think about having a man or anything like that, or a partner. We should love ourselves. We should feel loved.
I always say I'll be a horrible dating coach because I always say, until you have a happy career, you're making a lot of money in it, right? Good money in it. That doesn't mean you're at the peak of it, whatever, but you're doing good in it. Plus, you have a nice set of girlfriends that you can fully rely on and trust. And people around you, you're not dateable. Because women are so fixated to have validation, admiration from a man. That is all conditioning. That's not your personality.
Right.
What's that going to give you? What you want is to have respect, to feel significant. That's a need. That's a true need that we have in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We have the need to be significant in a group that we belong, in our tribe, right? That's an emotional need, love and belonging. And then the last piece of that is finding a guy, because who you attract is who you are. So if you're in constant need, you're going to get a needy person in ways that you can't see right away. Needy as in he's not fully emotionally developed, so he's going to be a toddler when you have arguments, or he's going to be extremely controlling. You invite that in because that is the lock and key. So you want to be your best version of yourself, feel really comfortable not needing anyone, anything. And then if someone does come along, that person is probably going to be a good match. Otherwise, you wouldn't be interested in that person, in the mindset of who you've become.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Julia. You have been super amazing, super, super amazing. Learned so much. And I really love the direction to which the conversation, went today. I really love the direction. So what would be your, would I call it tips or a guide, for women, especially, women in their career? Because I believe that we can truly have it all. We can be rich, we can be loved, we can be happy, successful, we can choose to be mothers, we can be everything. I believe it so much. So I need some tips from you, for women today to help them break the bias.
I have more than one.
I know you have so many tips.
So the first one is, if you want something and you desire, there's always a way, and you have most of the resources to get started. Okay. So nowadays with the internet, ladies, you have absolutely no excuse to not be able to have work-life balance and integration. Okay. You find the right career for it. Okay. You get into the right company for it. And never ever compromise. It's not a compromise. I should say sacrifice money for happiness or, culture, like better culture or, because I'm in a transition getting to a new industry. No, you can have the money too.
Right.
You're bringing things to the table. Know your worth. If you're making a transition, you have done things already. So you are now taking that and applying it as a transferable skill, which I also talk about here, transferable skills. Okay. So never sacrifice money. Second thing. Okay. Second thing is time. How you manage your time is the true test of your boundaries. Okay. Manage your time. Schedule everything in your calendar. Put yourself first. Do the things that you need to do first. If you are like a piano, if you're not tuned, if you're not in tune, then you're not going to perform. It doesn't matter how nice of a piano it is. Okay? So you got to take care of yourself and manage your time well. Be ruthless. That's how you get what you want. If you don't have time, it's because you gave it to people who probably don't deserve it. Look at how you spend your time. It is very telling of where you're at with your boundaries. All right? If you want something and your heart desires it, then it's meant to be yours. So go get it.
Thank you so much, Julia, for being here. I love and appreciate you, and see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Eno.